Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena on the 13th of June. It's a Friday. I'm CJ Baumgartner. Corey Tackman back on the show. Corey, how you feeling?
It's good to be back, let me tell you.
Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade here. Corey, why don't we, before we welcome you back in officially, why don't we talk a little bit about the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena?
Oh, I'd love to tell you about it. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade says not new, but improved. What do you think of that? Pretty clever stuff, don't you think? Mm-hmm. The fan favorite buffalo chicken pizza, the heat has been turned up, CJ, with more buffalo sauce, tender marinated chicken, and that creamy ranch that you know and love. Every bite is bigger, bolder, and even more buffalo-y, because that's a word, buffalo-y. Enjoy all-you-can-eat slices on that legendary buffet from the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, let's talk a little state baseball, because what happened yesterday is something that hasn't happened in a while and hopefully won't happen in a while or ever again, or I don't know. It was, let's just start from what happened with Parker's Prairie and Red Lake County in the Class A state semifinal baseball game at Joe Faber Field in St. Cloud. That information will be important in just a second. But Corey, this game starts out, I know you were over in Sauk Rapids Rice at Bob Cross Field for Sauk Rapids, in Sauk Rapids for Frazee and Legacy Christian in your game. You were giving us updates throughout the broadcast. We're going. The game got moved up because of rain. The other state semifinal game got moved up. That happened already. They were trying to get this game in because of rain, and they got it through, and they got 7 innings in. The only problem was the game took more than 7 innings to happen. So the game goes into the 8th inning. We play a complete 8th, 1 extra inning, and at that point, the rain, the game started at around 11:15, 11:30. Rain happened maybe at about 11:45 noon, and it had rained for over 2 hours. Not like this downpour, but just enough rain to be annoying. And over the course of 2 hours, the field just could only take so much. So they pull everybody inside. They stop the game, and we have to figure out, because rain is forecasted for the rest of the day, what are we going to do? So instead, because we got to get this game in somehow, they announced third place game done. That's not happening. They're not, whoever wins, that's the only game we're trying to get in for today. Southridge was waiting to play whoever lost that game between Parker's Prairie and Red Lake County. They got sent home, and Parker's Prairie and Red Lake County had to figure out how they were going to finish this game. And Corey, the solution was Alexandria. We packed up everything. I remember calling you because you were on your way to the field being like, don't even get out of the car. Too late. You were already coming in the ballpark as they were making the announcement that the game was moving to Alexandria, Knute Nelson Memorial Park, because they had a turfed infield. So, Corey, we packed up our stuff and we left. And we went to Alexandria to finish out the 9th inning of the game. I don't even want to talk about the game for a second, Corey, but just how, in a state semifinal game, extra innings, and you got to move and play over an hour away in a different field and try and reload. What a situation.
It is the word we used yesterday, probably even too much, but I can't think of a better word. It was just weird. I don't know what else to say. Baseball is a tough game. Mother Nature is a tough force. And when you combine those two things at their worst, you just get weird. And that is the only way that you could describe what that situation was for Parker's Prairie and for Red Lake County. It was just a weird, unfortunate, unlucky, gosh dang it sort of situation.
Yeah. And look, it's just tough because, like you said, it's a tough situation with the rain, and you got to deal with it. There's no dome stadium you can play at in Minnesota. There's just, you got to do the best in a bad situation. It kind of I understand everything's got to happen the way it does. It just Yeah, man, it felt like really everything kind of just happened. A mad scramble, if you will, to try and get that game in.
Said perfectly. So let's talk about the game a little bit, because on top of it going 9 innings, be on 2 different locations over the course of
5 hours.
There was some excitement in the game also.
This was a great game. That's the thing. I don't want to get overshadowed in any of this. This was an awesome, awesome state semifinal baseball game between 2 teams that have a lot of respect for each other. I know that there was a coaching connection between Coach McCulson of Prairie and Coach Denny of Parker's Prairie, and that they were both Bertha Hewitt alumni. Here's the other connection now between Coach Gullingsrud of Red Lake County and Coach Denny of Parker's Prairie. These 2 coached at the Lions All-Star game back in 2018. These 2 that's the first time they met each other, and they've kind of grown to that's where they met, and they kind of hit it off and have a really good appreciation for each other and their programs. And they really haven't met face-to-face and talked since then, but really overall, they've just enjoyed kind of what each other has done with their baseball programs. And both coaches, unprompted, said, yeah, we really feel like they are like an identical copy of us. There's no like overpowering, like, oh, this 2-hitter just can wreck your day, but everybody else is fine. There's no, hey, this stud is great on the mound, but once you get past him, it's good. Like, they're deep, really solid everywhere around. They run the bases well, do the little things well. Overall, these are just 2 programs that were really well built to play each other because they're identical copies of themselves. And in fact, that's what Coach Denny told his team kind of prepping for this game. They do stuff we do. Like, they are going to do a lot of the things we're going to do. So when you think of those situations, think of that. And it started off with a 1-0 lead for Red Lake County early in the first inning. And okay, get a run on the board. Parker's Prairie counters with 2 in the 4th, and Parker's Prairie gets the lead. But right then to respond was Red Lake County. They got a run to tie that inning. And then in the next inning, in the 5th, in the top of the 6th, they got a run to take the lead 3-2. Then AJ Woodworth pitched the game for Parker's Prairie through 6 innings, and through 5 innings with 6 innings of 3-run ball, as I'm trying to remember all my stats right here. 6 innings of 3-run ball. And then Trevor Rounds had to come in the 7th inning, pitched a clean 7th after having the first 2 guys come on. Clean inning, didn't give up a run. And then your offense goes to hit in the bottom of the 7th inning. The bottom of the lineup gets a couple of guys on. And Corey, you have Nolan Steidel, the program leader in RBIs, come up to the plate, and he laces a single over the head of the shortstop to tie the game up at 3. And you're thinking, okay, Parker's Prairie has a chance to do it. They couldn't quite get that game-winning run across in the bottom of the 7th inning. A couple base runners get on in the top of the 8th for Red Lake County. Boom, Rounds able to strand them, coming in relief. Then you get to the bottom of the 8th inning, where Parker's Prairie had the go-ahead run on second base with 2 outs and just couldn't get them home. Both teams, there was a combined, Corey, I think 18 runners left on base or something like that. Just a really high number. Both teams looking for kind of that big knockout blow, and it didn't come until we went to Alexandria. We went to that turfed field. That's why you go there, because the infield is turfed and there's no puddles. But unfortunately, we talked about this on yesterday's broadcast. The turf kind of played a part in it, because it was tapped over, a ball tapped over to shortstop, Steidel trying to play it, runner on second base, 2 out, tie game, top of the 9th inning. And Steidel looked like the ball kind of, again, coming quick on the turf, played it as well as he could have. The throw just not quite there, just needed a little bounce. And Joe Johnson over at first base did his best to scoop it, but you're just not quite prepared for that bounce on the turf when you've been playing 8 innings on grass and your whole season on grass. And now in the biggest inning of your season, potentially your life, you're having to play it just on a different substance out of necessity. You had to, but it just, and then the ball kicked away from Johnson just enough, heads up base running on third base by the Red Lake County runner. And he was just able to scramble in and score because they had heads up base running. And a couple of those runs Red Lake County got earlier, get a single, get a bunt, find a way to get him home. These teams just, it was a really, really fun Class A baseball game, seeing these 2 teams go at it. Unfortunately, somebody had to lose. Parker's Prairie got the tying run into scoring position, the go-ahead run on base. Nolan Steidel comes up, and you think he can make up for the error he committed the inning before. He already has an RBI single to tie the game once. He can do it again. And unfortunately, he hit the ball hard, but it was right at the third baseman who his momentum bringing him to the bag, stepped on third, threw across the diamond, and that's how the game ended. And it's tough, and it's an awful way to lose a game considering all the circumstances. But I think once that wears off a little bit, I hope those guys can look back and go, that was just an epic baseball game.
A really great baseball game and a totally like memorable just day in general, which we've talked about plenty. And I don't need to elaborate on that anymore. I do want to talk about the run scoring play though. You mentioned it, and it was just so interesting because the way that play developed, like there's a rhythm in baseball to the pitch being thrown, the ball coming off the bat. Each individual ground ball or fly ball, they all have different rhythms, but they're like it makes sense. Like it makes sense in the process as you're watching it happen. And this play it was all sorts of out of rhythm. So it's a ground ball on some turf, more true hops than normal. The ground is drier on this turf than they just played on in wet grass and dirt. So it's a truer hop, and the ball gets to you quickly. But it was also like an in-betweener sort of hop. So Steidl had to go down to a knee to just make sure he kept it in front of him the entire time. So while the ball is quick off the bat, him going down to a knee slows that part of the play down. But because it's turf, the batter's box and home plate and the baseline is completely level. And turf is just a faster product to run in too than it is coming out of that hole in the batter's box and on dirt. So Steidl going down to a knee, it takes a little longer to then get back up and make the throw. But when he looks up, that runner is out like a cannon out of the batter's box because of the level ground and easier ground to run on. And maybe now the throw had to be rushed to get over there. Also, there's 2 outs in the inning, CJ. So you're off on contact as the base runner anyway. You're getting a lead, you're getting a secondary, and then you are off on contact anyway. So you're not breaking stride. When everything is slower in the field, he was already a step or two farther in the direction he needed to be to score that go-ahead run the way it was. The ball did not get away from Johnson at first base very far. Basically, he just didn't catch it, needed to come out of his stretch to pick it up and throw it home. It's not like it was errant. It was right there. But you combine all of those things into one, and it was just like he was so safe at home. And it's also to be noted, the dimensions of that field are just straight up weird. 365 down the left field line in Alexandria. It's only 350 to straightaway center. But the peak of that field, the deep part of that field is right where, forgive me, I can't remember what that kid's name was, where he hit it to in that left center field fence. It doesn't matter. That's probably 385. That ball was a home run in darn near every other ballpark in the entire state. That ball's gone pretty much everywhere else. It's not gone in Alexandria because for some reason that's the deep part of the field because the lake and whatever is beyond that outfield fence. So in reality, the Panthers caught a little bit of a break in the fact that ball didn't go out, but also it was going to score anyway. That ball was a home run at Joe Faber Field. That guy, that situation, he was going to score anyway. So things just kind of, I don't know. It's just interesting to see how baseball all works itself out. But those last 2 at bats for Red Lake County were such a fascinating sequence of events as far as like the minutia of what that individual field happened to bring to this game for a matter of 6 outs. So strange.
And by the way, the outfield grass is grass. It's not turf. So even trying to track it, Gavin Basil, he almost got there. Yeah,
it did not take a perfect route. I mean, it was just one of the ball was hit straight at him, straight over his head. So he turned over one shoulder, but he's a righty hooking it down left field. So the ball turned. He had to turn back over the other shoulder. It's just the guy crushed it. What else can you do?
And it's also a field you just got to. You took maybe a couple fly balls in infield. but that's about it because the IO is also quick because you want to get everybody it's weird. And I think at the end of the day, I think you can just say it's an extra inning game. It's a coin flip. One team just kind of has to have something go their way. And unfortunately for Parker's Prairie, it was just Red Lake County that had that happen to him.
Right.
It happens. Baseball's a cruel game. I don't know what to tell you. We love it. I don't know.
So I do want to quick mention, and then we can get into some other teams and the baseball brackets. I'll run through those really quickly here. But obviously, congratulations to Parker's Prairie on their unbelievable season.
Third place in state ain't bad.
We spent a ton of time talking about them. We were there to cover Prairie as well. Congratulations to the Hornets on their season. And I just, before we go through the brackets, it is worth mentioning, at least in my opinion, how disappointing it is from my perspective that there's not a contingency plan to make sure that these games are played at some place at some point over the next week. What are we doing? I don't get it. I don't know another tournament where this would happen. You know what I mean? I just don't. They would find a way to make up the basketball tournament at some location somewhere. How do we not have a contingency plan in place to get these games in? How were we? Alexandria was called 45 minutes before the game started to see if we could do that. And the guy was climbing in his truck to get his boat in the lake. Like, we're that close to having to figure something else out. That part to me is just super disappointing. In the Class A bracket, CJ, we'll start there. Obviously, we know the championship game will be New Ulm Cathedral, Red Lake County. Southridge and Parker's Prairie will share the third place title because of the rainouts. Mm-hmm. That is listed on the Minnesota State High School League brackets, okay? There is still no update on the consolation part of the bracket. We don't know what to do because one game was played. Russell Tyler Ruthin beating Hayfield 8-1, but Frazee and Legacy Christian were postponed in the middle of the fourth inning. So they were tied at 1 apiece. So there's 3 teams remaining. There's a chance here that the high school league is going to decide to give a trophy to 7 of the 8 teams in the Class A tournament. Again, got to have a contingency plan because it's June in Minnesota. Like, it's going to rain. So we still don't know how that's going to work out in that 2A bracket. Perham Yellow Jackets, they will share the third place title with Duluth Marshall. Congratulations to Perham on another wonderful season. Piers is going to share that consolation with Laverne. We didn't have, let me just check the 3A tournament really quick, just to double check. We didn't have anybody immediately local in that 3A tournament or in that 4A tournament. But the point of all of this is to say we still don't know how this Class A 5th place thing is going to work itself out. I'm stunned by that.
Yeah, I get it. It's a fluid situation, no pun intended with the rain. But you have to, I don't know. It's tough. Man. You feel for the kids because especially like the third place game doesn't happen. You get it. You got to prioritize getting somebody to target field to the state championship. Like, you got to figure that out. I get it. But then also, like, Parker's Prairie came into that game yesterday, expecting to play 2 games no matter what. So, like, no matter what that game happened, they had a chance to still be like, well, let's rally the troops and let's go out a winner. And I get it. It's tough. It happens. I don't know the perfect answer, but I just, like you said, it's
that part of it is less of a problem to me than they don't know what to do about what's happening in the consolation.
Right.
How is there? This is a mess up that I don't think will happen. I mean, it's going to rain in June. It rains at every state tournament. It's just how it works. I was in 6th grade in 1998 when Sibley East won the state championship, and I was a ball boy on that team. And we had a multiple hours rain delay on Dick Putt's field where the grounds crew came out and like dug actual trenches so the water could drain out. It was amazing to watch them work. But there was a break in the weather so they could get that game in quite literally hours later. It rains at these state tournaments. Got to have a plan to make sure that if you're going to plan for all these games, you got to have a way to make sure that these games get played, or just get rid of them. Then just, if you lose, you're done. Go home. Thanks for coming. Because all we're allowing ourselves is 1 day, 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that point. I'm disappointed for on behalf of a lot of people, and just as a fan, I think that stinks. But we had a lot of other state tournament action this.
Yeah. By the way, before we talk about it, I do want to mention somebody in our Facebook comments in the, I believe it was on Sports Cow or the Superstation K106 page, I'm not quite sure, said the same thing happened to Perham twice now, once back in like 1983, 1984, that time frame. So the Yellow Jackets get bit by it twice.
Sure. Yeah. Told you. It happens. Have a plan. I mean, they're going to get, they're taken home. They're being recognized for their efforts in an unbelievable season. It's got to be better than this.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little, Corey, state golf. I know that happened this week, and obviously rain kind of impacting state golf. It also impacted state track and field. They had to move that indoors to try and finish things up at St. Michael Albertville, and luckily they picked a facility that had an indoor facility right there. So that certainly helped things as well. Let's talk a little golf, though, how things go onto the links. I know we had some local golfers that were competing and local champions in both the boys and girls for Detroit Lakes.
So, I mean, you want to do it? That's pretty much all of it. No, just congratulations. We had a ton of area golfers perform exceedingly well. So because of that, I just want to, we're not going to go through like full podiums with any of this, but I do want to recognize, we had champions. Your Class A boys golf team champion was Walker Hackensack Akeley. Your Class 2A boys team golf champion was Detroit Lakes. Your Class 2A girls team golf champion was Detroit Lakes. Sound familiar? And your Class 2A girls individual champ was Genevieve Birkland from Pequot Lakes. So representing around the region beautifully at the state golf tournament each and every single year. And to no one's surprise, Detroit Lakes is doing what Detroit Lakes does.
Detroit Lakes, man. The golfing community is pretty strong. Like a certain, alumni golfer that's golfing professionally. Hey, we had her on our podcast. That's pretty cool.
Friend of the morning sports desk.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's cool. I can't remember, where do they do I believe the classes were in different spots, but where?
Hold on.
Now we've piqued Corey's interest enough to make him do some research.
Oh, I know it. I know where they are. I want to make sure I pick the right, I assign them to the right class. Class A was at Pebble Creek. Class 2A was Ridges at Sand Creek. Pebble Creek is Becker?
That sounds right.
Or Jordan. Pebble Creek is Jordan. Ridges at Sand Creek is Becker. And 3A is at Bunker Hills, which is in that like Blaine area.
Pebble Creek Golf Club is in Becker.
Pebble Creek is in Becker. Ridges at Sand Creek is Jordan-ish.
Yes, Jordan.
And Bunker Hills is right around the Blaine area.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's talk a little state track and field, Corey. There's a lot to a recap and everything. A ton happening with our local athletes and all that's going on there. As we look, this is going to be kind of a laundry list here. So let's start things out with some things that we know in terms of the teams. Let's start that way. In Class A, boys track meet, finishing second as a team was Osakis, which is pretty cool. In the AA, Alexandria area finishes second. Becker finished first. In the Class 3A, nobody local there. In the girls' Class A, Minnewaska area got second place as a team. St. Cloud Cathedral third. First place was Janesville Waldorf Pemberton taking first place in that one. Alexandria area, the AA girls team champions in track and field, which is pretty cool. Mankato West and Monticello behind them there. And in 3A, again, nobody a local there, but it was Wayzata, if you're wondering. So those are the team rankings here. Let's kind of go individually here. Let's take a look at the Alexandria area Cardinals and some of the things that they were able to do. In the boys 100 meters, Daniel Jackson got fourth place. Girls 100 meters, Kaya Schneider got fifth place as well. Otto Anderson setting some records here with finishing fifth place in the 110 meter hurdles overall with a time of 14.42. Looking at Evan Colt, who had 5th place in the boys 200 meters as well. Otto Anderson getting a class record with a 37.34 in the boys 300 meter hurdles. So congratulations to him. Allison Kraske in the, trying to look here, got a high finish in the 5th place, believe in the 400 meter hurdles there with a 58.5. Casey Solderholm took home a Minnesota ranking, a class record with a 2.11. 0.81 in the 800 meters. In the prelims, she ended up finishing 2nd overall in the race with a 2.14. Also, by the way, was able to get 6th in the 1600 meters. So that's a little bit of what things were happening for the girls. They also finished 1st for the boys in the girls and boys both finished 1st in the 4x100 meter relays. So congratulations to them there as well. Taking a look at Bertha Hewitt Verndale, Brady Rock finished 2nd in the prelims, ended up finishing 8th overall in the boys 800 meter, and then finished 2nd in the 1600 meter with a time of 4:19.74. The girls relay for Bertha Hewitt Verndale ended up finishing with a 9:48.61 in the 4x800 meter relay as well. They finished 4th. So congratulations to them there. For Browerville Eagle Valley, Emma Norton finished 12th in the girls high jump. Natalie Markser also finished 12th in the triple jump. For looking at our other local schools down the line here in Detroit Lakes, looking for the boys pole vault, Coy Bratton finished 6th in that one. Looking at Fergus Falls, we had a top 7 finish for Jaden Miller in the boys 800 meter. And then in the boys triple jump, Darius Lockett finishing 3rd there as well. For Frazee in the Class A girls 100 meter hurdles, Ansley Johansson finished in 8th. Looking at Nevis in the boys high jump, Ethan Buckholtz got 3rd overall in Class A. Congratulations to him. For Osakis, a team that did very well. One of the reasons why in the boys 300 meter hurdles, Andrew Jones, your state champion, with a new class record at 37.39. Robert Kendall also finishes in 1st with a 1:31.53 in the boys 400 meter in the wheelchair. So congratulations for him. Trayton Van Nuys finishing 2nd in the boys long jump. And in the boys shot put, Robert Kendall also finishing in 2nd place. Trenton Von Nuys finishing 1st in the triple jump as well. Their relay in the 4x200 taking 1st as well. And the 4x400 meter relay also finishing in 1st. Corey, that certainly helps out as well. For Otter Tail Central, Kinley Borman in the girls triple jump finished 5th. And Kinley Borman in the long jump also finished 10th as well. Running down this line as well, another top 10 finish in the boys 3,200 meter in Class A for Park Rapids area. Ephraim Burvig finishing with a 9:52 time there as well. He made a PR down at the state meet. Finishing in 1st for the girls 4x400 meter relay from Park Rapids area. Congratulations to them as well. Top 11 finish for Nora Frosley of Parker's Prairie with a 5:19 time in that as well. For Pelican Rapids, looking at the boys 300 meter hurdles, Aiden Chuko D'Souza finished with a time of 39.83 to finish 4th in that as well. For Pequot Lakes in the boys high jump, Oliver McKenna finished 3rd. Bodie Egna finished 9th. Brooklyn Hansen in the girls 100 meter hurdles finished 10th as well. In the girls long jump, Reese Leposki 33rd place there as well. For the relays, the girls 4x100 meter relay 8th in their relay in the AA meet, 7th for the 4x200 meter relay, and for the girls, the 4x400 meter relay finished 7th as well. For Purim, a team that typically does well down at this state meet, in the in the 800 meter relay, a 2nd place finish for Bjorn Anderson and Matt Jorgensen also finishing 8th in that race as well. Bjorn Anderson finishes 2nd in the 1600 meter relay, 1600 meter race as well. In girls pole vault, a 4th place finish for Grace Morris, a 10th place finish for Lydia Kletke. And in the relays, a 5th place finish for the boys 4x400, a 1st place finish for the boys 4x800, and a 9th place finish for the girls 4x800 meter relay as well. For Pillager, in the boys 100 meter race, Andrew Brown finishing 8th. In the girls 200 meter, Violet Metz finishing 3rd. She also finished 2nd in the girls 300 meter race as well. Only a few more, Corey. Callie Norman finishing 20th place for Pine River Bacchus in the girls triple jump. In Sauk Center for the boys 200 meter, Jarek Schogel finished in 7th place in the 200 meter race. Logan Wyhoff finished 5th in the 1600 meter. In the boys discus, Lucas Ahrens finishes 18th. Damian Ahrens finishes 9th in the shot put. A 4th place finish for their 4x100 meter team for the Main Streeters. An 8th place finish for the 4x200 meter relay. And in the boys 4x400 relay, 4x400, they finished 5th as well. For Staples Motley, a lot to talk about here. Noah Larson finishing 9th in the 110 meter hurdles. In the boys 200 meter, girls 1600 meter, Audrey Brunell, your class champion. She also finished 2nd place, Corey, in the 3200 meter. She was so close to getting multiple state titles in that as well. In the boys pole vault, another state champion for Staples Motley, Turner Beachy, 15 on the pole vault there. So congratulations to him. Sawyer Ferdon finished 11th in the boys triple jump as well. For Upsala Swanville area, Lucas Jarrett's finished 9th in the boys high jump. Whew, you writing all that down? Y'all caught up? How we feeling? How you doing? Couple state champions, Corey, both coming from Staples Motley in Turner Beachy and Audrey Brunell. How awesome is that they get to hang a couple more state champions?
Yeah, congratulations to them on their efforts, and just another showcase at the track and field event to what Central Minnesota can do. And if you have never been, I say this all the time, if you've never been to a running event, if you've never been to cross country, if you've never been to track and field, go. They're amazing. They're amazing events. They're amazing experiences. If all you've ever done is like you stop me and I stop you kind of sports, go to one of those. Go to a running event. Go to a tennis a match. Go see what it's all about. They're a wonderful experience. And so congratulations to all those kids and those state champions.
Yeah, and if you want to find the full results anywhere, usually the Minnesota State High School League has it up on their website as well, along with the Wadena results. Just type in Wadena results, Minnesota State High School League State Track Meet. You can find kind of the whole laundry list there that has a full breakdown of that. So one last thing to do here, Corey. First, let's get you caught up on what you missed. A whole lot of state baseball and softball playoffs throughout this time. And you missed basically that. You missed Brainerd going down to the state tournament, Holly going to a state championship game again in softball. Just a whole lot of stuff that you missed. And then you were able to hop back in just in time for state baseball. But overall, let's talk about kind of this end of season here for all of this. I just want to run through some numbers for you. Is that okay? Can I do that? Is that legal?
No.
All right. So I'm going to do it anyways, because we push boundaries here on this podcast. Here's everything that we got. We covered roughly 40 combined baseball and softball games throughout the spring sports season. All of our Park Region Conference teams, specifically Staples Motley, as well as our Park Region Conference teams. Roughly 15 regular season games, kind of the 15 to 20 range, with games starting in early April. There were some rainouts there as well. But overall, we had 20 combined playoff softball and baseball games that we covered on our Hubbard Radio-Wadena stations, including 2.5, if you want to count the Frazee game as well, state baseball tournament games. Just a huge thank you to everybody behind the scenes who made that happen. Super great. Huge thank you to you, Corey, as well, and Zeke and Kyle for getting all those games in throughout not just the spring sports season, but throughout the whole season as a whole. I don't have those numbers tabulated yet. Maybe we'll get that for Monday's show. But overall, just These were a lot of games we've covered, not only in the spring sports season, but just from the beginning of late August on. These are a lot of games. We're covering a lot of places. We've went all the way up to Rock Ridge, to Hermantown, down to, the cities. Trying to think of, I think the cities is the furthest south. We've gone all the way to Fargo to cover games. Like Johnny Cash says, I've been everywhere, man. Like, we've been everywhere covering these games, these playoff moments. We've had a prep bowl at the beginning of the season. In football, we had a team go to the state volleyball tournament, Henning finishing 5th place in state basketball, Nevis finishing 4th place. Some girls basketball stuff as well. State wrestling, Staples Motley won a state wrestling championship this year. We've had some individual state champions as well. And of course, Parker's Prairie getting down there. We've had a lot of we covered the unified state basketball games down at Target Center. Corey, we did a whole lot this year. This was really, really cool. A fun season for us.
Lots to look back on from our perspective here at the radio station to be proud of and to be excited about. Obviously, we don't get to do it without these kids who are able to advance there. So, a special thank you on our behalf to those teams and those coaches and those players and those communities for letting us glom on and kind of be a part of it and be along for the ride. We certainly do appreciate it. When I look back on the year, the thing I'm most proud about is the unified, adding the unified state basketball tournament and featuring Monaga at that. That was a brand new thing for us. We talked about it at the time, but we were the first radio station ever in the history of all time to broadcast those basketball games from state unified basketball at the Target Center. I was really proud of us for being able to make that happen for the Monaga school community and those kids and for Special Olympics and just to be a part of that. Lots of highlights to look back on the year. That's the one to me that probably stands out the most.
Yeah, I mean, that's, without piggybacking on that, because that's certainly up there. Getting to go down to US Bank Stadium for a prep bowl was really fun. And not only that, we had kind of an all hands on deck broadcast where Tyler and Zeke did a great job calling the game on the play-by-play and commentary. And we were down on the field the entire prep bowl, Corey, like just doing reconnaissance and covering stuff on the sideline, halftime reports and things like that. It's just a really fun and unique, because you're used to calling those games, but now you're on the sideline and doing a little bit different stuff and making a broadcast as cool as it can be. That was really fun. Also, Parker's Prairie getting to go down for state football as well. I got to go all the way up to Rock Ridge for a game that was really fun, just to be back in the old stomping grounds of Duluth and things like that, and covering them at the state semifinal game as well. But overall, that prep bowl was just a really fun atmosphere to be a part of. Obviously, didn't go the way Staples Motley wanted, but just to be down there was really fun. I think also the top moment for me, it's like a co-AB also would be covering Henning down at the state boys basketball tournament. Obviously, Randy Misagatis, my uncle, coaching that team, Kale Misagatis, their point guard, kind of doing things for them and getting to watch them in that state tournament. I got to call a buzzer beater for my cousin at a halftime, off a halftime shot, which is really, really cool and something that I'll probably never get to do again unless Kale wants to just start making them a bunch. That could be cool. But like, that's really cool. So overall, there's just a lot of fun things about this broadcast season without belaboring the point too much. This was really fun. I'm a little relieved that we get to take a break from calling games, but also I'm a little bummed because I love doing the podcast. I love doing an air shift. I love doing all the parts of things in my job, but doing play-by-play is the part I enjoy the most. So taking a little hiatus from that until August is going to be kind of weird,
This will be the last thing I say, and then you can end this however you need to. The honorable mention, which doesn't give it enough credit for our high school broadcast season. It would be its own like lifetime achievement sort of situation. It was related to the prep bowl, and that was when you got pulled over for stealing a car in Big Lake. And if you don't know that story, I'm not going to go into it all again.
Go back to the episode in November. You can find it.
Please just ask us about it. CJ stole a car and was dang near arrested for it.
Look, you brandish a weapon in front of an officer, and there's you run into some issues.
Crazy, man. And so that goes down. That gets its own special recognition. Great year, CJ. Good job.
Great year. Good job. Hopefully next year we have more state champions and less Grand Theft Auto charges. That's all. That's a high bar to shoot for. I understand, but we'll do our best. As we get into the summer here, Corey, our schedule may change for Morning Sports Desk. We're going to get episodes out multiple times a week. Just they might not be every day. We're kind of going to, with high school sports taking a step back, we'll probably take a little bit of a step back, but keep following wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube, Sports Cow on Facebook. We're going to be giving all of the updated stuff. We appreciate all of you for listening. Pizza Ranch for being on board. We'll see you next week.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.